Hi, welcome to Taylor Productions. My name's LT, Lindsay Taylor, and I'm going to be showing you how to paint some stuff today. Okay, first thing when you're painting, you want to just make sure you have an object. Whatever it is, you just want to make sure that it's nice and clean and that, you know, like something like this sticker, you just pull off there. Okay, just want to make sure it's nice and clean, which I already did ahead of time. Okay. Then you always want to make sure you pick out the paint and the right paint, because this is I'm gonna be putting on a base coat, a primer, and my final objective is to paint this a different type of black. Okay. Now, if I wanted my final color to be a white, you obviously don't want to start with a black primer. Okay. So you always want to make sure that you pick out the the right primer according to what your vision for the project to end up looking like is. Okay, then you always want to make sure that you have a brush, that it's nice and clean, which I cleaned it prior. You want to make sure that you have a nice and clean rag, which this was a dirty rag. I just turned it upside down, so it's like a new rag starting all over. Another thing that I poured the paint on is actually just a box that I just ripped off, so it's easy cleanup. So I could just put the paint right on there, and then I can throw it away as soon as I'm done. Last thing, I got myself a clean cup, and in here I have, it says vinegar, but it's really distilled water and Basic H. Basic H is the Shaklee's product. I live by it, so it really helps with getting the paint off the paintbrushes. Helps with a lot. Helps with your plants, helps if you have a toothache, helps with a lot. Okay, so when you're just putting on your first primer here, or your first coat, you just lather it on as much as you want. Don't worry about wasting paint. Okay, try not to put it on big globs. However, you can always spread it out very well. I mean, if you spread it, then it doesn't matter. But just make sure that you coat everything the first time around really, 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 really well. You know, painting for me is a therapeutic thing, and it kind of lets me be, at peace kind of in my mind without having to entertain other people, when I do it by myself. However, it's really nice to do with your kids. My daughter's 3 and she paints paintings every day. It's much better than, putting them in front of a video game or a television. I put her in front of some paint and a piece of paper and a paintbrush, and, she's still out of my hair when she's painting. But it's a fun thing to do with her too. Often I like to draw on the piece of paper, already have drawings like hearts or flowers or something, and then it helps her with staying in the lines. But I also like her to have her own creative imagination. Okay, you see how, like on the side, this is, I don't know if you see that very well, but it's thick. It's kind of rough. So you just really want to make sure that you put the paint on really, 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 really well. And it doesn't really matter if you do, I'm a perfectionist, but it doesn't really matter if you miss a spot the first time around, because there's going to be more than one coat anyhow. So, I mean, you don't have to. It's not going to look the prettiest, but, okay. And how I'm doing is I'm holding my paintbrush kind of like how I would be holding my pencil or something. And when I paint, you kind of do it with your wrist. You see how, like, not like this. Okay? So that's nice. Okay, now I need to get me a little bit more paint here. Okay. Right now, actually this is being broadcasted out of my 3-bedroom loft apartment in Millersville, Pennsylvania, right near Lancaster, and not too far from Philadelphia, maybe like an hour and a half, maybe like 2 hours. Depends who's driving. You know, regardless of what the occasion is, there's always something you could do that involves painting to reconstruct something into something completely different than what it was, you know? You could always paint over it. Really doesn't matter what it is, you could always paint over it, you know? I mean, you want to make sure it's not, or it's a darker color. You always want to make sure that it's a darker color, your top coat, than your lighter coats, because you can't have dark coats underneath and want to have a light finish. You can't, that doesn't make any sense, you know. I've done it by mistake though on a few occasions. I you know, not focusing and not, you know, paying attention to what I was doing, and then it, you know, sets me 3 steps behind, you know. But you live and learn. Okay. Like I said, you don't have to be a perfectionist about this and get every nook and cranny. You want to try to, you know, do a good job, but there's going to be several other coats after this. So it really doesn't. You don't have to be like me. Okay. So checking all sides. Yep. Okay. So now we're going to let this dry. Okay. I understand there's still another side underneath that's not painted. What would I hold on to? You know, so I'm going to set this down. Okay, when you're cleaning your paintbrush, I like to always, you know, swirl it around really good to get a lot of, you know, get the water and the bristles loosened up and, you know, the paint off. Okay. You know, and then you just dab it. You know, don't go against how the bristles are on the brush, because then you're going to mess up your paintbrush. So you can either leave it in the water, or that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so, oops, I already see something, which it doesn't matter. You don't have to be such a perfectionist. Okay, you really don't. You really don't. Okay, so I'm going to let that go for now. Okay, when we come back, if you want to join me, we'll finish the bottom, and then there's more to come. Okay, we do stenciling, we do free stroke, or whatever the heck it's called, where you just draw. Okay, we do drawings to then do paintings. We do them on a lot of different things. Thank you for joining me very much. Again, I'm LT, Lindsay Taylor, Taylor Productions. Welcome. See you soon.